Hi guys, and welcome to Premier League Prediction Week 9, and we start with the lunchtime kickoff, which is Bournemouth versus Spurs. And I've got to say, even though I've said before in previous videos, that Bournemouth are a good side, they can score goals, quite attacking as well. I've got to say that Spurs will be the stronger team and they'll be the favourites for this game. I'm not sure they played yesterday actually. In the Europa League, so that maybe tiredness might come into it, not too sure. But I still fancy Spurs to win this one, or just about nick it. So I'm going to go Bournemouth 1, Spurs 2. But I do think it'd be a good game actually. As I said, Bournemouth don't make things easy and they can score goals as well and quite attacking. So Spurs will have to be alert. If they think they're going to Bournemouth for an easy ride, they've got another thing coming. So be a good game to watch. We then have the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we start with Arsenal versus Middlesbrough. Last week Arsenal doing again what they always do. Letting teams back into the game. Swansea didn't have a sniff because I actually listened to it on the Arsenal fan TV thing. On the Arsenal website live match thing, and by the sounds of it, Swansea didn't have a sniff of goal until obviously we handed them with a mistake. And then the second half as well, we handed them the second goal and gave them momentum. It's really frustrating, when we keep doing that. And we didn't play our best in the first half against Ludogorets on Wednesday. A completely different team in the second half, though. We went on to win 6-0, hoping that would give us some confidence. Because I think Arsenal's playing with some massive confidence at the moment. And yes, as I say last week, sometimes we can drop off a little bit and let ourselves down, but we did hold on for the win and got another vital 3 points. I think it'll be kind of similar this weekend. Borough will make it hard for us. They're quite a hard team to break down, as I've spoken about Middlesbrough this season, but I do think Arsenal will nick it. I think obviously Arsenal will be the stronger side. It's at home, so I do fancy Arsenal to nick it, but I do fancy Borough to score in this game as well, because it's what Arsenal do. We don't get many clean sheets. So I fancy Arsenal 2, Middlesbrough 1. We then have Leicester versus Crystal Palace. I thought Leicester were absolutely dreadful against Chelsea last week. Absolutely dreadful. Chelsea did their job, kept it very professional and got very comfortable win. But Leicester need to sort themselves out. They really are missing Kante in that midfield, and Vardy doesn't seem to be getting the service that he did last season, and they started with Mahrez on the bench last week, funny enough, Leicester, which I wasn't quite sure, why he was on the bench, why he didn't start that game, against Chelsea. Maybe they did have Champions League in mind, but let's be honest, Leicester's not going to have a chance of winning the Champions League, so I would sacrifice the Champions League, and you've got to get the points and stay up in the Premier League, because the way they're going at the moment, they're going down. They really are struggling. So I would have played Mahrez last week and sacrificed the Champions League, because you're not going to win the Champions League. Let's be realistic. I don't think any of the English sides that are in there at the moment will win the Champions League. To be honest, not good enough at all. Especially when you got the likes of Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid. In it. I still think that the English teams aren't good enough at the moment. So yeah, I'll go. Sorry, I've just disrespected Spurs actually. 5 minutes into the video, saying that they play last night in the Europa League. I forgot they're actually in the Champions League. They played Tuesday night, so yeah. But I still think they'll beat Bournemouth. But going back to Leicester, yeah, I think they're going to struggle tomorrow as well. Again, play Champions League Tuesday, and I do think that Palace are the better side at the moment. And again, I think Palace will nick it. I'm going to go Leicester 1, Crystal Palace 2. I do apologise to the Spurs fans for that little cock-up. I do apologise for that. We then have West Ham versus Sunderland. Now, I feel this is a good chance for West Ham to get their confidence up and get a comfortable win tomorrow. No disrespect to Sunderland, but West Ham should be facing Sunderland thinking, right, here's a good 3 points and for us to get some confidence. It's at West Ham. So it's a good chance, to get your season up and running. I think that they're going to take that chance, and I'm going to go West Ham 3, Sunderland 1. We then have Hull versus Stoke. Again, I spoke about Hull this season. They did start off okay, but they've gone down the pan a little bit now. However, as I said about Stoke, I do think they're missing Jack Butland, in goal. And again, they don't seem to be, the same Stoke that make things hard for you, and they just haven't been on on their game yet. And funny enough, I fancy Hull in this game. I'm going to go Hull 2, Stoke 0. For some reason, I just fancy Hull to pull out an upset, and again, maybe give the team a bit of confidence, and try and get their season back up and running. As I say, sometimes, like I said with Chelsea last week, sometimes it just takes the one win, or a really good performance, to get your season back up and running. And I think that's what Hull need at the moment, because they're not a bad side. They've got some good players, so I do think that they're one or two good performances and a couple of good results away from getting their season up and running. So we'll see how that one goes. We then have Swansea versus Watford. I spoke about Swansea. Didn't really have a sniff in the game last week against Arsenal, which is probably going to be expected. Most teams won't see a lot of the ball, when they play Arsenal, especially at the Emirates. I feel that we gifted them 2 goals really. So yeah, I don't see Watford making that mistake. As I say, they are quite good in defence. Watford. I think it's going to be quite a tight game. I'm going to go Swansea 1. Watford 1. Yeah, I can't be any more fair than that, I don't think. We then have Burnley versus Everton. I think Everton got a very good result last week at Manchester City, considering Manchester City had 2 penalties and missed 2 penalties. Obviously with it being 1-1. So I think Everton can look at that and think, wow, that was a good result, and we're playing well this season. And long may it continue. Because obviously Burnley will make it hard. I realised that 2 weeks ago. Found that out for myself. Liverpool's found out this season with Burnley. I do think Everton will nick it though, like Arsenal did. I'm going to go Burnley 1, Everton 2. Been really impressed with Everton this season actually. They've done really well under Ronald Koeman and had a much better season this season than they did last season. So they've definitely improved. We then have the 5:30 kick-off, which is Liverpool versus West Bromwich Albion. Again, people are going to say I probably jinxed it last week because I said about Liverpool having these short bursts, and they go on these long runs and have a bad game. So I said last week I went in their favour and I said that they've been on form and they'll beat Manchester United and dominate them with play. Wasn't the case, sadly. It wasn't the best of games to watch. Actually, it wasn't the best Liverpool-Manchester United game I've ever watched. Now, yes, people can argue it's hard to break teams down when you're part of the bus and stuff like that. But even Klopp come out and says, we can't keep using that excuse. We should be all Liverpool. Should be breaking that down. It's nobody else's fault but ours that we couldn't score. And I actually thought Manchester United looked quite comfortable on the ball, actually. I thought in the first half, Liverpool looked a bit nervy, a bit edgy. And yeah, it was just a little bit disappointing, but it wasn't... I was expecting it to be a hot crowd, and I was expecting it to, set the world alight, but I was actually bored of it, to be honest. I was really, really disappointed with the game, with the result, and just everything about it. But again, like I said about West Ham, it's a great chance for Liverpool, just to get that confidence back up. They might have been feeling a little bit low after drawing to a poor Manchester United side, if you like. And I think they would have fancied the chances to have beat that Manchester United team actually, and they didn't, especially at home as well. But they're back at home against West Bromwich Albion tomorrow, and I think as like I said, it's a chance to get their confidence back up. I'm going to go Liverpool 3, West Bromwich Albion 1. I do still think that Liverpool have got a problem in the goalkeeping area. They seem to have dropped Mingales, and they've brought this other keeper in. Not quite sure how you pronounce his name, but yeah, I think Jamie Carragher touched upon it before the game, that he looks a bit stuttery and looks a bit unsure. So hopefully that's just a little bit of nerves, and he'll grow into the Premier League and a couple of games as the season goes on. Maybe the same as Bravo, the Manchester City keeper. I touched upon him last week as well. So maybe it's just getting used to the Premier League a little bit. We'll see how that one goes. Speaking of Manchester City, we now turn to the Sunday games, which is Manchester City versus Southampton. Again, I don't think Southampton will make it easy. They'll definitely test that goalkeeper. Bravo, run at him and put him under pressure. Try and get a chance, every chance that you've got. But again, I say that Southampton's a good side, but Manchester City I think will be too strong for them, especially at home. And I think they will they'll win it. I'm going to go Manchester City 2. Southampton 1, but Southampton won't make it easy. Don't kid yourself. Southampton will not make that game easy. So any Manchester City fan that thinks this is going to be an easy 3 points, I think you'll get the 3 points, but I don't think it'll be easy. And then to finish off the weekend, we have the 4 o'clock kickoff, which is Chelsea versus Manchester United. I spoke about Chelsea. Don't think they did anything special last week. I just thought that Leicester were very poor. And Chelsea just did their job very professionally, which is all you got to do. Just put the ball in the back of the net, which is all you got to do. I think Manchester United did well to go to Anfield, quieten the crowd, and get a very, very good point at Anfield. It was a bad point for Liverpool, I would say. Being at home, and they'd look at that and saying, it's a bit of a poor Manchester United team. It's not the best Manchester United team that we've faced before. But on the Manchester United side, they can take massive confidence in that. We've gone to Liverpool and we've ground out a point, and it's the return of Jose Mourinho at Stamford Bridge. Obviously he'll be on the Manchester United bench now, so that's going to spark it up a little bit. I do think he'll get a standing ovation from the Chelsea fans. I think they respect Jose. They seem to love Jose down there, even though he's been sacked twice there, but the fans seem to take a light to him. So it's going to be an interesting game. But again, I'm going to go for a Portland draw for Manchester United. Maybe a poor draw for Chelsea. I don't know. Maybe Manchester United or Chelsea fans can comment on that in the comment section below. But I'm going to go Chelsea 1, Manchester United 1. I think Manchester United fans would be more happy with that than Chelsea fans. But as I said, if you're a Chelsea fan or Manchester United fan, please do let us know. So that's been my predictions for this week, guys. And I will see you next week for next week's predictions. Thank you for watching, guys.